Danny Two Guns, the Lisa Kameni Foster, back with another episode of the Erie Fitness Lifestyle Podcast. Little delayed because while our technical prowess and efficiency is increasing, it still apparently isn't stellar. But we're here because we'll always be here, because episodic content is what we do every Tuesday at 5.
Even if it's a little bit after 5, we don't give up.
We don't give up. Never give up. Never surrender.
Never surrender. Never surrender.
Boom.
Not even a little bit.
Never surrender. So, today, we're going to talk about investing in yourself and
getting some WD-40 on your chair. Joe Joseph.
I got to get a ball. Investing in yourself and all that goes into that. Is that what we're talking about?
Right. We're talking about investing in yourself, why people don't sometimes invest in themselves, even though they would be perfect for our unicorn gym of, what do you call it? I can't even talk about it because it's just
Unicorn
it
Palace of
explodes
Glory
out
and
of my mouth,
Dreams,
so to speak.
Hi-yo.
I have to just talk in euphemisms.
Yeah. One big happy dysfunctional fitness family,
Right.
Unicorn Palace of Glory and Dreams, all the goodness.
Right.
All the goodness.
So, what made you want to discuss this? Because when you were typing it out in a Facebook message, it seemed intense.
Hyphen harasses me daily about content.
I'm sorry, I don't think daily would be...
Multiple times a daily?
No. Maybe like once a week.
It's probably in the middle of both of our...
Once a week.
It's not once a day, it's not once a week. But I was thinking, because I always have
because you like to be
it laid out in my head, and I'm always prepared, but it's not necessarily on paper, so it's not always quite prepared enough for Lisa Kameni Foster. So
I got a bushel full of golden apples. I'm always
brain
prepared.
dumped a bunch of things that I thought would be appropriate and said, hey, why don't you pick one of these? And she said she wanted to go with number 1.
Yeah, I like this topic.
Number 1.
I like this topic. You were talking about how, and this one resonates with me, because I feel like, especially now that we do this episodic shindig,
I like that.
that people talk to me often about the various things that we discuss. So I have lots of notes about things that people say to me related to things that we bring up. Sorry about the word things. If I was writing this down, I would change that. Too many of the same words. So when potential clients come in and they talk to you, what makes you think, you'd be great for this place?
That's a good question. So I think we, in fitness business, like fitness business marketing, they talk about like niching down and being for a specific person, blah, 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 jargon. But I think the main thing we look at is we want to approach like-minded people who have tried and quote-unquote failed at fitness before, people who resonate with ridiculous humans, serious fitness, people who value education and expertise.
That's something that I loved. I think you said that. I remember you saying that, actually. That you were a ridiculous human.
Ridiculous humans.
Yeah. You said you don't take yourself seriously.
So we don't take ourselves very seriously, but we take our fitness very seriously.
Right. Science.
In a Unicorn Palace of Glory and Dreams.
Right.
Which is probably a good aside for a solid sock game that's going on today.
Mm-hmm. Good. I'm glad you brought it up.
Well, because if we're going to talk about unicorns, and I have the perfect unicorn socks. This guy?
Yikes.
Boom.
Boom.
Everything's away, hyphen.
You sure?
Joe Joseph?
Joe Joseph, confirm.
Yes,
Okay.
confirmed.
Thank you.
And I think the valuing education and expertise, and also coming appropriately with valuing that investing in yourselves pays the best interest, are some of the major tenets. But the other piece generally resonates with the person's story. right? Because whenever we sit down, the first thing we talk about are what are your goals? What about those goals are important to you? What are your hurdles? And sometimes in the strategy session, it's like, what are your goals? I want to lose weight. Oh, would you acknowledge that the goal is probably losing fat, not losing weight, because we just cut off your arm and we lost some weight, but actual fat loss is the goal? And they're like, yeah. And I was like,
well, maybe we should also work on your personality.
I didn't say that.
Is that too much?
No, it's probably like right on the cusp.
Yeah,
I'm completely okay with it.
Maybe that's why I don't own a gym.
We're talking to Jared about like top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel, where Jared can only be top of funnel because of that exact reason.
Yeah, sometimes I have actually a friend at work that regulates my comments during faculty meetings. She'll say, Lisa,
I don't
that's
have
enough.
those friends.
You don't need them.
Fact.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Yeah. You have Ginny.
Right. Well, truth.
I love you, Ginny.
Saint.
Saint.
Anyone who deals with this.
Saint Ginny.
Yes.
I shall call her.
Saint is Saint like gender ambiguous? Like
yes, it is. It is.
Saint Ginny.
She's been canonized. I canonized her right now.
That
makes me a
aptly
pope.
so.
I'll probably be fired for calling myself a pope online. Okay, can I have a job here?
Maybe.
Okay.
She gets paid for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. In smiles and hugs.
Smiles, hugs, and gratitude and
right.
unconditional positive regard.
So someone would be perfect for this place. I don't know, I got you off track like usual.
No, that's because it comes back to their story and all the 10s I mentioned, but their goals and their story.
Yes.
Well, yeah, when
lose weight, yes.
When you can tell that this person had like depth and breadth to their goals, and it has been a major issue for this person for a while, and Erie Fitness has failed them repeatedly to the point where I'm upset about it, let alone that they should be upset about it, because they didn't fail. Erie Fitness failed, or fitness failed them, but they internalized that in a dialogue in which that they failed, and when that's your internal dialogue, it's going to be really hard to succeed. So then you have all these things that resonate, like this person 1 year from now could be a completely different person.
What if the person comes in, which is another thing I have on my notes here. Oftentimes people will say to me, I feel like I should get in shape before I work out where you work out. Because I think sometimes they see things that we do here and it makes them nervous. To which I tell them, I really feel like that's not true. I think anyways, I'll let you answer that question. But what if the person has just struggled to get into a routine or really wants to become a person who feels like they need to use their time efficiently, and just hasn't found a place that they feel like they can do that? They aren't in shape. They haven't tried much before.
Well, I have to get in shape before I join the gym.
I feel like that's a common thing anyways. Well,
the main issue there is that it's true when you look at the majority of the fitness offerings that are around here. It's just not true in the context of this facility. Right? Because this facility, everything is individualized to you, specific to where you're at, what you can do, what you can't do, what you shouldn't do, everything in between. Where, you walk into the boot camp, down the street, where they're all doing the same thing. There's no coaching, there's no individualization. They do probably need to get in shape to do that. So that's kind of where it's like it's half a cop out, but it's half reality, and it's on us to educate that, because I think one of the things we talk about in marketing is the problem is that the super basic simple stuff that the vast majority of people need to start at is not the thing that catches their attention, and the involved, sexy, intricate thing, the thing that caught their attention, is a thing that they'll say, oh, well, I can't do that, so I can't join there.
Well, and this is like I feel like this is sexy right now.
Well, anything with you in the frame is going to be,
With you at my side, Daniel. And people have often said that to me, and to which I've tried to reiterate to them this, if anything, like even when we have classes here, there are a variety of people in a variety of fitness levels. And that's what I love about it is there's people of all ages, shapes, sizes, and varying abilities. And I'm a prime example of that. I'll come in here always needing a modification. People actually call me the hyphenated modifier. That's what because it's a great style trick in writing. It's one of my favorites, of course. It's a form of an adjective.
I've never heard that nickname, and I'm so upset because
the hyphenated modifier. My friend Jessica Lesso calls me that. She's the art teacher.
Jessica Lesso did a strategy session here and did not sign up.
What? Okay, well, we shall.
We shall talk.
You know, she is going to be getting a new job soon, where she will be making more money. So I shall.
As soon as she gets that job, I'll send a message. Yeah.
I shall be pressuring her. She'll have less work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say why. So that would be rude. But anyways, so even when you're in a class, like I've needed a modification when everybody else is doing something else. So, and I've tried to explain that to people. So I feel like this is the perfect place for someone who's not in shape or hasn't started or needs to start from the bottom up, so to speak.
Well, and humble pants, right? But it's the best place for.
Do you have a pair of those?
I don't wear them because I don't wear pants, but they exist.
Okay.
Right. I put them in front of me when I go to put them on, so I can say things like this.
Right.
But this is the best place.
Humble pants. I'm gonna write that down.
This is the best facility, 100% in Erie, but in a lot of places, in terms of like the beginner who doesn't know what they can or can't do, has no experience, but then also the person who is really advanced, has been doing it for a while, and needs a safe next level of things. Because the problem with a lot of the way people do fitness, especially around here, is that the longer they do it, the more broken they become, which is not how it works, right? And then every walk of life in between, it can apply as well, because at no point in one's life is a workout that is individualized to what they can do, what they can't do, what they should do, what they need, and everything in between be the best thing for them, right? Because that's always going to be it. And we talked about methods and principles before, where when you're methods driven, it's not about the person, it's about your method. But when you're principles driven, it can unequivocally be about the person, because we don't espouse to any dogma, we just do what this person needs, right? And that, I think, like we talked about this with Jeff, I think, where the fact that the norm in Erie is such a deviation from what is good in fitness, we have to overcome all these educational hurdles like we're talking about, where, hey, how does this person know, like, trust us, to invest their time, energy, faith, and money into us, because this thing that looks like Greek is exactly what they need, but just something they're so unfamiliar with. And that's, maybe all strategy sessions should take 2.5 hours, right? Because those end up being good clients, and we get the education.
I don't believe you on that 2.5 hours. I know that was directed at me.
That was Angie,
okay.
For sure. Yeah,
she'll be on this eventually.
Angie was the only 5 o'clock appointment that I got out of here at 7:35.
Sorry, Jenny.
At the
I
time,
think she was at work.
Yeah, that was pre-Hannah. So
okay.
Yeah, she just waited. It's like, why are you late for dinner? I don't know.
Remember those days?
Remember those days?
Bless your heart. So when people come in, you think they'd be a great fit. This is exactly what they need. What do you think makes them not pull the trigger, so to speak? I feel like there's a variety of reasons, but I'll let you, as the business person, answer that.
The sales world will tell you that you didn't build enough value, right? You didn't make it important enough for them to invest, because there are sales principles, sales methodologies that will say, I can't afford it, doesn't exist. It only means you didn't build enough value to make that exist, right? Especially in this area where, an excess of money is not necessarily present. Hi, Jeanette. Love you. She just commented.
Okay. I was like,
That's a good thing about the phone now, is you can see the messages.
Odd time to mention a person's name.
Jeanette invested in herself.
Yes. Hyphen invested in herself, and she's poor.
But that, especially in Erie,
she looks like she's got a lot of money, but she don't.
average household income in Erie is always, like every business coach you come in, it's always the lowest one. So, that's definitely part of it. But at the same time, and there are people, people who have been members of this gym who she'll say like, oh, I have to stop coming, I can't afford it. But then every Snapchat story, Instagram story, and Facebook story is her at the bar 3-4 nights a week, where like you unequivocally spend more than $150, $250 a month on alcohol. You just value that more than you do you. Right. So we look at that, and so I think that's true to a point, right, where a lot of times the accountability almost be on me, that we didn't build enough value as per how it relates to the person, right? Because I think, and we might be getting into a sales rabbit hole, but I think it's prudent to Erie where most of the time, like a sales consult, you want the person to talk more than you, so that they feel like they've been heard, they feel like they're important to you, right? And it comes from genuinely caring, right? But the part and the problem with Erie is that there has to be so much time spent educating on what this is, how it works, and why it's different.
Foreign here,
right? And
I walked in here and thought, there is not. Maybe I'm telling secrets, but you can come in here for yourself and see it.
You should.
I don't know why you haven't.
Kim Jeffries.
We're 1 million episodes in here. I don't know. I walked in and thought, there's no treadmills and no ellipticals in here. What in the world is happening?
There's no Fox News. There's no ellipticals, no treadmills. It doesn't smell most of the time. When Nate's pooped, I can't help that.
But there's candles.
There are candles.
And poopery.
Right. And bathrooms in which you can be alone in a locked room. You don't have to deal with old man balls. Right. I don't know how often you dealt with that in the average gym.
A lot. And there was always some woman. There was this woman at the Y, and I'm saying that out loud. She would blow dry her hair. She had no clothes on. And 1970s called down here, if you know what I'm saying. I'm trying to be polite. I'm thinking,
we know.
Could we please put something on down here?
Either groom or put something on.
I mean, put something on. Period. Okay. But this is a foreign concept. I just saw all this crazy stuff around. These sandbags with handles on them, people carrying suitcases around, going nowhere.
Punta Cana carries.
Oh, okay. That's what you want to call them.
Right.
This big bearded man with socks.
That's a good transition, because I think a lot of people, like, if something happened in the fitness industry that completely overhauled everything we do here, we would change, right? Because the goal is to give the best product and service we can as per what we know now. Where if having a sea of treadmills and ellipticals and Fox News on worked, we would do it.
Well, with your menacing patriarchy, I might expect that you would say that, but...
Fox News aside, but like, we're only committed to what unequivocally works the best, right? Because you're like, oh, well, you don't like cardio because it's not what you do. You don't like P90X because it's not what you do. It's like, no, I don't like them because they don't work. And me pretending that they do because someone likes it does not do that person justice. Right, where it's like, I don't care what a person's hobby is in terms of workouts, right? I care what works best for you, right? If we want to go do something like the CrossFit or mud runs, I'm going to give you something that allows that to not injure you, right? Because you have a hobby or thing you enjoy, but your workout and your training still has to be something that builds you up, empowers you, makes you better, and that has to be individualized to you and not methods-based.
And doesn't totally take over your life.
Right. Well, and if selling $10 to $40 a month memberships in which the structure is to get you to pay and not come worked, we'd probably do it. But it doesn't, and I mean, why would it? But also, hey, average Jim, right? Like, that's...
Ain't nothing about you that's average.
Nothing.
Science. What else is on my notes here? I don't know. I was trying to think about if I came here, because I think I was at 100 and I'd lost 150 some maybe before I came here. I was thinking, had I been at my original weight, would I have been intimidated when I came here? I don't know. Because I have friends who need to lose.
I don't know 170 pounds heavier hyphen.
She was still very fashionable and hair on point.
I've seen pictures. Fashion and hair were never an
No, there's
issue.
no excuse for people. I'm sorry. There are no excuses. You can still be on point, but that's a whole other story.
That's the Crafts, Hair, and Something with the C podcast.
Yes. Cock-a-doodle-doo. I just really like roosters. I don't know. And coffee. So I was just trying to think to myself, would I have been intimidated? Because I have friends who have a sizable amount of weight to lose and are really interested and fascinated by my journey, and this part in particular of my journey and what this part has done, and have some of the same ailments that Hyphen has. Maybe not the 6LT shirt on the back Hyphen ailments, but they're there, they're getting there. Mm-hmm. And they're in my age group, and I think sometimes they're intimidated. What can I say to them that would make them not intimidated? I don't know.
Well, and I think there's a chain of gyms that kind of ruined the no judgment zone type thing, because it just became words without practice.
Right.
But
we really mean it.
Well, when you because we talked about community a lot on the shows, but when you have an environment that's unconditionally supportive and individualized to you, that is the polar opposite of what the average gym is, right? So I think the dialogue has hey, number one, you got to meet him, right? Because he's not what you typically think, right? He's
that
educated.
Is something that I did say about you, actually, was, I don't know how to put this.
Lay it on me.
Okay, gladly. I said, be careful what you wish for. I was trying to describe you to people, and I said, he's not the guy that you would think, oh, this guy owns a gym. You know, he's not a, I don't know, like, tight shirt around the arms. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be stereotypical, but some stereotypes exist for a reason, I think. I just felt like you were my kindred spirit.
Like shaved head, overly sized head, tiny t-shirt, shorts that are always of a questionable length.
Right? Like yours were a minute ago?
That was me playing a part.
Okay. Please don't play it again when I'm around.
And then less than stellar vernacular and education would be what I would describe.
You were very funny. I was very comfortable. I felt like you had my genuine best interest in mind, and you actually cared that I was here. And I will say that at the Women's Expo, I don't know, maybe this is going to out someone, but that's too damn bad. At the Women's Expo a couple of years ago when I was doing stand-up, there was a local business who...
Rocked?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And they were putting sunglasses on women, and one of my friends was with me. I didn't notice because I was busy hobnobbing as the entertainer, you know, as I often do.
Lisa Hobnob.
Yeah. hyphen hobnob. And I wasn't paying any attention to the actual machismo that was happening. Yours is feigned. That is actual.
So the genuine menacing patriarchy.
Right. I just make fun of you, but that was for reals. And my friend who was with me would have noticed this, but this character was putting sunglasses on all of these women who looked very stereotypical. And they were already thin and in shape, and he was saying, come to my business, come try it out, etc., and putting the sunglasses on their person. And my friend, who is very astute and observant, Amy, I love you, and you are smart and ridiculously awesome. Thank you for all my sloth shirts. She said he didn't put the sunglasses on me because I don't look like those people. Women notice things like this. I thought, that is not Daniel.
So I would have noticed that as well.
Yeah. I would have noticed it had I not been hobnobbing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's not the kind of person I saw when I came in here. So if people could just understand that, I feel like maybe that would be helpful.
I think that's a good transition to like part of my fitness origin story we haven't mentioned on any of these so far. The very first seminar I went to, like a continuing education event, like as a fitness professional post college, whatever. It was a business and sales one, and he was talking. He went on this whole like marketing thing about how I'm going to teach you the number one thing you have to do to make a career in this business, the number one thing that's going to differentiate you, the number one thing that's going to help you succeed, blah, blah, blah.
Can't wait to hear what this is.
I don't know if it'd be so. The answer was you have to genuinely care about people. And
you're like, well, I wake up in the morning and do that.
Well, I was going to say, because I was just starting, and I'm like...
Isn't that why you got into this?
It's probably a testament to the fitness industry because he has to say that. Like, he wasn't saying he was wrong,
right.
But at the same time, for me, I was like, well, I already do that without trying. What's the second answer
I
that I
paid
can
for this
do?
fucking thing. And
right, it got better. It got better.
Because I paid for this. Yeah. I'm here with my graph paper. I'm ready to take notes.
He just hyped up something that Alan Cosgrove said this before, where for a while being a trainer was the new waiter. Like, it was something people did until they got a real job.
Oh,
so
that's how people feel about teaching, unfortunately.
Oh,
too.
really?
So, yeah.
The industry got inundated with people who didn't give a shit and didn't care about people, and is still that way, where people don't get better because the person doesn't care. Where people who genuinely got in it, like the catalyst for getting in it was so that people didn't make the same mistakes I did, to give a voice and a presence and a help to people who truly needed it. And you look at that and you're like, well, that should be why people got into this. And the fact that he has to say it is something worth mentioning, but at the same time, it's like that shouldn't be a differentiator for me, but it always was, because that was the goal, right? Like, and in shape 20-year-olds think they know it all and don't want or need your help, right? So let's build something based off of people who genuinely and truly need your help, and then also the people who appreciate it, right? Like, we talked to Amanda, and she says, you know, I feel like I want to post a lot on Facebook thanking you guys because I don't thank you enough for what it meant to me and how much it helped me. And I was like, well, that's the goal. Like, I always appreciate the gratitude, but at the same time, like, that's why we're here, right? That's why you invest your time, energy, money, faith into us, right? Because regardless of common conception, time is our most valuable asset because it's the only non-renewable thing we have. And don't spend that time doing stupid shit, right? Don't spend that time getting injured places. Don't spend that time on someone who doesn't care, right? And that's
something that you also said when I was here. I hope this is still your policy, but I was asking you about payment and things like that, and you said, well, you pay per month, because I was asking you, like, do I get in a contract or whatever, and you said, I feel like I should earn your money every month. Mm-hmm. I thought
that's always the policy, right? Because
love that about you.
Well, it's an investment. It's an investment in us, it's an investment in you, and there's an obligation on your end, the client's end, but there's also an obligation on our end, and I never want to be complacent in that, right? And that's always the balance between, like, being super busy and still wanting to cover all those bases, and the juggling act, because I get asked weekly, like, because, like, the marketing stuff keeps taking off, and people are like, hey, when are you gonna sell your gym? When are you gonna stop doing the gym stuff? And I'm like, yeah, probably never, right? And like, oh, when are you gonna leave Erie and go to a bigger city?
I will start a coup in the parking lot at your. I know where you live too.
We will, and you're always welcome there. We'll never have that issue. That coup will never be needed, because this.
I know a lot of people. It'll be a revolution.
Well, and this was the passion project, because both you and I have talked probably on this podcast before about how if making money was the sole goal, we both would be doing different things.
Oh, totally different.
Right, and that's part of it. Like, no, this was the passion project, like, and it happened in Erie because as of now, like, the 10 best personal trainers in Erie are employed by me or a business partner of mine, right? And, like, there's no cities where you can really say that with a certainty, right? My humble pants are on, and they might be, like, burning but that. You don't say that unless it's true, right? And
sometimes you got to give credit where credit is due and pat yourself on the back.
Even if you give it to yourself, right? But I think that's
Batwing was in the shot.
Yes. that was always something, and every time they ask, I'm like, no, that's the balancing act. Like, I would love to be able to have the time to return every text message promptly, every message promptly. But and I unequivocally try, because that's the goal. Because, and again, like, I think at some point the people closest to you become your first support system, but then they also becomes so comfortable that the things they say or don't say don't have the impact it should. So getting like third party source of empowerment, motivation, encouragement, comfort is something people need, especially I'm trying to avoid using middle-aged after your harassment last week. After
he does listen to me.
Post 35-year-old women, like that's something that gets missed because they take care of everyone and everything except themselves. Like, let's be the third place that takes care of them, because like, and as a husband, I'm guilty, but also where like the person closest to you is not the person you generally get that from, because they're too close, and like your husband compliments you, you have to say that, right? It's not genuine because he has to say it, but like, hey, you look great, you lost XYZ, blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. And
don't worry, I always tell Jenny she's smoking.
It's because she
is. She's a gorgeous specimen.
Well, and you know, I say it too, it just doesn't matter. So when you say it, it matters more.
I've just learned to say thank you, because I used to say the same thing to my husband. You have to say that. Actually, no, he doesn't.
It's true.
Not all husbands say it.
Mm-hmm.
Mine just is honest.
Right.
I want to be married to me too. Yeah. Especially after losing all this.
Right. It's just, he married two different people.
Yeah, he married the beast, got the beauty. That's what I always say.
On point hair, the rest is solid.
That's right. Let's see, anything else on my notes? Oh, you know what? Something else we shall address, unless you have something else.
It might be the same thing.
Okay.
How, you know, paralleling to having that strategy session with the person who is the perfect fit, and we can help them unequivocally. They don't sign up.
Right. That was the other thing. Yeah.
You know, because that's, you know, day two ends as a crier. It's true, right? And like genuinely getting upset about things. Where one of the things that I genuinely get upset about is when I have a strategy session with somebody, they don't sign up, and like a year or two or a year and a half later on Facebook, you see them like they do something or post something that they're just as unhappy as they were when they were in that strategy session with me. And had I been able to sell them at that time, that Facebook status or that Facebook post or picture would not exist, because they would not be that same frustrated, spinning their wheels person.
And if they were spinning
later,
their wheels or upset about something, they'd have a place to...
Right.
They'd have a huge network of support.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah,
they'd have someone to talk them off the ledge, even from 8,500 miles away in India.
Right. And that's, I think, the piece that... Sales is a dirty word, right? But like if I had gone to that sales trip, if I had done that thing, that person would have signed up, and the amount of goals that can be obtained and attained in 18 months is immense. Right? Because again, 52-week game, right? Like, we can't do shit in 4 for the long term, but we can over the long term. And
most of the people that we've had on so far have been here for a year and a half, 2 years, and the immense amount of changes that we've seen. I've just even seen them, and I don't see them all the time. You know a lot more about them than I do. Even I'm an example of a year and a half or so. Mm-hmm. Crazy changes.
Right. Well, and that's, again, a hard thing. Like, it's not cheap. Right, you have to invest in yourself, both in time and energy and money.
Right.
And by the way, you can't just do it for 3 months.
Right.
Right.
It's not going to happen like that.
Right.
Nothing good usually does. Nothing with long-term results.
Right. Well, yeah, because we can drop 40 pounds off both you and I in a week. We're not going to keep it.
We can?
Right. Oh, yeah. You'll gain back probably 50 over the following month, but we can. Yeah, we
I got
can do
really
it.
excited.
Yeah. It's like, we can do it.
Like,
right?
Daniel has been hiding this secret.
We're going to deplete carbs. We're going to deplete salts. We're not going to eat. I'm going to cut off your arm.
Oh.
Right. So there's going to be a lot of things.
There will be no more crafting.
Right? There'll be no more crafting.
Okay, I'm out.
Right? Yeah.
Done.
Right. But it could happen. Right. But, one of the issues is that people, they over-glorify the short term and under-glorify the long term when, what could you have done in that 18 months, right? What could I have done to get that person to have joined or have signed up?
So when you see someone has not evolved in their journey at all and is in the same place where they were when they met you a year ago or so, do you feel compelled to reach out? Is that appropriate?
Yeah, I don't know if it's always appropriate, but I tend to, right? Because
you care.
Well, right, because it's like...
Because you have a big, giant, hairy heart. Science.
If it, Carrie Cook, if it, shoot, Carrie Cook was a fan of. What'd you just say?
Big, hairy heart. Big, hairy heart.
Well, no, that's, so if this Facebook post, this Facebook status compelled me enough to get genuinely upset about it, like, I should say something. Right? Whether it's just selfish.
You must be posting about it because you want people to reach out.
Right.
You need some kind of support.
Well, and even if, yeah, because that's probably the case, but even if it's not, right, hey, I can still help you, right? Because even though, what's the best time to plant a tree? Hundreds of years ago. What's the next best time? Today. Right? Like,
that's a good analogy.
Yeah, because
right.
Okay,
Sure, it would have been even better if I didn't get fat 30 years ago.
Right, exactly.
Fact of the matter is, I did.
We met. You didn't necessarily get where you wanted. It's not too late to do that, right? I'm not necessarily use those words, but it's like, hey, if you ever need anything, I'm here, right? And that's, I don't know, because usually, and again, like I put the accountability on me, but I don't know how often, like, that has resulted in someone joining, like when it's been that long, right? Because the Terrys of the world, where it took 3-4 months of me reaching out once a month, right? Because that's usually what happens too. Like those people, like they get followed up with, and whether so I can't afford it. I'm like, oh well, I have this membership. Oh well, and then this excuse. But it's like at some point, your the pain of staying the same has to outweigh the pain of changing, and that has to happen. I have to educate well, right? And all the stars have to align, but at the same time, it comes back to investing in yourself, right? And you have mindsets where even parallel into trainers, like once a month, twice a month, multiple times, all year, I'm going to learn and improve. And there's a gym that you referenced earlier that gives out glasses who have not gone to a continuing education since they opened, right? And it's investing in yourself.
A challenge.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, if they did go learn, we wouldn't have to say these things because they'd be better, right? And if they were better, I'd be their friend, right? Because the goal initially was
Danny Two Guns
forgives, changing the way fitness is done in Erie, and Erie has a lot of people, and we cannot service. So Erie,
a lot of them need help.
Erie has 100,000 people. We pull from Fairview, Girard, Harbor Creek, Northeast, Edinburgh, McCain, wherever, people all around. So say there's about 200,000 people. We can't serve 1% of those people in this facility, right? So there's no like poverty mindset where we can't have like-minded, good fit pros in the area, right? Because it'd be like, oh well, you say that they don't do good things because you don't like them. I'm like, no, I don't like them because they don't do good things. Like if they went to go learn with me, I would talk to them and be their friend, right? Because all of a sudden we have common interests, not just taking people's money for the sake of taking people's money.
And only putting sunglasses on the pretty women who are skinny.
You were still a pretty woman, even though you may not have been
I
skinny
know,
at the
right?
time.
Pretty women come in all shapes and sizes. Thank you very much.
Boo.
Science.
Science.
If you can't see that, you're just a shallow bastard.
Well, and
I'll kick you in your...
you did. Grundle, Gooch, Chad, kick.
Synonyms.
Is that the Joe Joseph? What is that?
Oh. I'm just going to put it under my chin now. His mom watches.
She's a nice lady.
What's your last name? Hi, Mommy.
Mama Sullivan.
Yeah. Aw. He's a good kid.
Yes. He's my poop.
What? Number 2. Oh, that's
Yes.
right.
My number 2.
Aw. He's so precious. Well, that's all I have for my notes. Is that all you want to say? Humble pants?
Humble pants. They're on fire. No, that was, that's...
I think that's enough.
I think the moral of this story is you should always sign up when you do a strategy session with me.
You know what? I am a tough sell on a lot of things because I am a strict judge of character. And Daniel sold me with socks.
Socks.
It wasn't just the socks.
Socks,
I think you know that.
And community, and
Yes.
laughter, and
Magic.
science.
Magic. Yeah. Big, hairy, menacing patriarch.
If you're still watching Carrie Cook, miss you. You should come back as well.
Yeah, I don't know who you are, but you're probably fabulous if you were here to begin with.
She is fabulous. She would always bust my chops because whenever she'd ask like a detailed question, I would give the context of it depends on the situation, and the answer would be like maybe, maybe not.
That's
so that's
annoying.
why she said maybe, maybe not, because science.
Oh, science.
The answer is usually that it's individualized to you. Science.
Shut the camera off, Joseph. I'm over
Thanks
it.
for watching.